AskReddit by Arian69. Women of Reddit, what's one thing all men should know about periods? Periods can last anywhere from 3 days to 10ish days each month, and can range from very light flow of blood to so heavy it looks like you're bleeding to death for several days straight. It's different for every woman and can differ from period to period. Edit, as many have responded here, I will clarify that there are some who do have very irregular cycles, as well as some who bleed for less than 3 days, or more than 10 days, per cycle. There are many reasons for why women's periods vary so much and I won't elaborate on that here. 10 days sounds like torture, especially if it is monthly. Some of us have cramps, some of us don't, and some of us have really debilitating ones because of a condition like endometriosis. So we aren't faking the pain. Edit, Redfro just shared a great link, https://www.mayoClinic.org/diseases-conditions/endometriosis/DRC-20354661 about options for treating endometriosis. And it's not just cramps, either. When I'm on my period, it feels like someone kicked me really hard in the junk. My whole vagina hurts and it's so uncomfortable. Just one fucking sneeze can bring ultimate chaos. Or cough. My god, having covered while on my period was like a horror movie. Having period cramps or other side effects can knock you out badly. If I tell you I can't get up because I am in pain or I can't get up because I might faint, I mean it. It's not attention seeking or being lazy. Especially for women with low iron levels. We cannot control when we get them and we can't just hold it in. Did somebody tell you to just hold it in before? What a moron. It is nothing like the tampon ads at all. Having my period does not make me feel powerful, super social, athletic, or a boss. And that should be acceptable too. Just once I would like an ad where a woman is just laying on the couch with a hot water bottle on her abdomen, a cat sleeping by her feet and her sipping some hot chocolate with a catchphrase like for every type of period. Premenstrual syndrome, PMS, can be awful for some, and can even be worse than the actual period itself. Depends on the person. Through days before a period you can feel exhaustion, cramps, bloating, acne, food cravings, mood swings, and more. Also, if you have PMS for a week, then a period for a week, there are only 2 weeks out of the month where you are not in terrible pain. That's half of your existence dealing with period related pain. Depressingly, it's actually more like 3 weeks of the month. Generally speaking, the luteal phase runs from day 14, ovulation, of the monthly cycle to day 28, and then the period itself is day 1 to day 5. You're lucky if you carve out more than 1 week symptom free. You can get horrible bowel issues with your period, weird cravings, migraine headaches. And in some women, cramps are debilitating. When I had my kid, the first 8 or 9 hours of labor hurt less than my average cramps. My bowels get fucked up during my period. Either I'm having diarrhea every day or I go a whole week without shitting. I'm usually the latter. That everyone deals with it differently. Not all want ice cream. And it can change cycle by cycle. Yes. My period pains and side effects alternate every other month. That is every 2 months. I'm in deep pain for at least a day and don't have the strength to walk. Plus the full PMS brain loops, but the alternate month is like barely anything happened. And yes, sometimes all I want is to eat a mountain of food. Sometimes I want to climb a mountain. Edit, using my new platform to share a new company I am not affiliated with at all, but they do a great job of educating for both male and female audiences. Take a peek at their social media if you want to know more about what your partner experiences or to learn more about your own body. https://jetsomdays .com right square bracket open bracket https://jetsumdays.com. It's not just blood. It's blood, tissue, mucus. I once had sex with my wife after the main flow had stopped, but there was still some residual blood around. We do this a lot, cause she's really horny on her period and can't wait until it's all gone. One time I was cleaning up after, and I discovered a 1 centimeter thing on my dick that I can only describe as looking like a mini umbilical cord. I asked my wife about it and she was like, oh yeah, that's just period stuff. My fiancé had to be educated about this at the age of 28, so I will say this just in case. Periods last more than a few minutes. They last for 7 days non-stop. Some days are heavier than others. We only lose 1 stroke for cup of blood on average. The rest is uterine lining and mucus. Cramps are from the sloughing of the uterine wall and they do hurt a lot for some people. Not all of us get PMS. And if you're with someone who has something like endometriosis, periods can last even longer, like 14 days. That even if they don't hurt, they can be debilitating. I used to get anemia every month, along with a headache. I'm glad I'm old. Women only get more powerful with age, I suspect. Sleeping on that bloody first night of pain is hellish. I go comatose when I'm in pain. I usually get groggy the day before as if my body knows it's almost time to hibernate. I slept 32 hours this cycle. I wake up to take more medicine, and go right back out. I'm very lucky to not have a demanding job. 2 holes. We've got a urethra for peeing, and vaginal canal. We can pee with tampon in. And a 3rd hole for pooping. 3 holes. Period products are expensive. And we go through a lot of them. I recently saw a video of a woman asking random guys on the street how many tampons they thought a woman used during 1 cycle on average, and the answers went from like 1 to 7. Tampons do not feel good or turn me on. Ah yes, nothing sexier than a dry tampon coming out or a cardboard applicator going in. The blood leaks, that's why we need to use paper products to soak up the blood. Sometimes those paper products also leak, including overnight, onto the sheets. We can't control it, that's what our bodies naturally do. You just wash the sheets, okay? Is it common for it to happen during sleep? Sometimes the sheer exhaustion from a period feels like the literal life is being sucked out of you. Yes. For some reason my legs ache and I am so goddamn tired I could sleep all day. They can hurt a lot even when there isn't a lot of blood, although heavier flows are much more likely to be more painful. It depends from person to person. Also, and I cannot believe I have to say this, but the size of a tampon or sanitary pad isn't dependent on the size of a vagina but on the heaviness of the period flow. The worse my cramping and bloating, the lighter my period. I'm backward. Dunno. When we sneeze you can feel the blood shoot out of your vagina. Or when you stand up after sitting a while, bloody water falls down below. My insides are literally evicting other insides. Give a break. Sometimes my cramps feel like an invisible hand is reaching up inside of me, grabbing my uterus, and slowly, very slowly, ripping it out through my vagina. It's fun. PMS stands for premenstrual syndrome. What does PMS entail? Periods have a lot more side effects than lower abdomen pains. The discomfort is real and we're trying our best to carry on through it, but it's not always possible. A little more empathy would be so appreciated. It doesn't get any easier. We don't get used to it. The pain is intense but we have to pretend it's not and just get on with it. My periods are getting worse as I get older. Significantly worse. More bleeding, more clots, worse cramps. Cramps now start before my period and end after. They used to just be the first day, And my period is a full day longer than it used to be. It's uux. Can't wait until I'm old enough to be done with it. We have periods, except for pregnancy and breastfeeding, for around 40 years. Every fucking month for 40 fucking years. From the first period in your early teens, your life is never the same. You have to check a calendar, plan what you can wear, when you can swim, wear skimpy clothes, do sport, have sex etc etc. Not to mention the pain and nausea and fear of leaks. Boys just go through puberty and have some embarrassing moments. This is a whole life changed forever. Then the menopause comes and the blessed relief is profound. This is how it is. Male gens are here, and I was in middle school when we learned about human reproduction in biology class, 7th or 8th grade in Western Europe. I remember being puzzled by periods for a while. I understood what they were and why they happened, but the idea that girls bleed every month and that we're all living our lives as if this wasn't happening felt really weird to me. We literally can't stop it. It's not like urinating. We can't save it up to go the restroom, Dave. The number of people in this thread that feel the need to explain this has me worried. Cramps really are that bad. Some scientists said they can be compared to heart attacks on the pain scale. The worst are the ones where the pain radiates down your thighs and make it hurt to walk. Sometimes with a heavy period, blood might get on the sheets. It's so embarrassing. If it ever happens to a girl with you, just say it's no big deal and wash the sheets. Seltzer water and lemon, or just get red. Seriously, though. White distilled vinegar if it's not set. A cold soak with some salt, then smear the stain with the liquid detergent you use. Vinegar and ammonia are staples of the household cleaning supplies. Just never mix them together or with bleach, hydrogen peroxide, or baking soda. I think everyone could do with knowing more about periods generally. I've had women in my life be just as, if not more, dismissive about my experiences with debilitating pain and nausea than men. My first boyfriend in high school didn't even blink when accompanying me to buy pads, but my dad was happy to ignore that anything was happening at all. Starting from age 11, I lost at least one day of school each month until I was put on birth control pills to manage hormones. Due to circumstances beyond my control, I was unable to continue that prescription past the age of 16, so I spent the next 20 years weeping on the bathroom floor every 24 days, throwing up from pain and bleeding enough to cause iron deficiency. Out of nowhere, my period stopped hurting. For several years. Don't know why. These days, they're uncomfortable, but not intolerable. I take daily iron supplements so I can function, and seem to be experiencing perimenopause, which are the years leading up to the cessation of menstruation. Imo, it can't come a day too soon. Yesterday my husband asked me why I cannot just hold my period blood long enough to run across room and get panties pad without dripping blood. I asked him why he can hold blood in when he cuts himself when he shaves, and he was genuinely embarrassed. Years ago a coworker asked me if periods stopped at night, like if we could just press pause until we woke up lol. Most of us are not over-exaggerating when agonizing in pain from period cramps. Some women barely cramp while others feel constant stabbing pain for hours, sometimes days. The pain can be debilitating. Related, the same woman may have an incredibly painful period one month, then a fairly painless one the next. Just as there's no one pattern for all women that we all fit, there's no one pattern for any one woman, either. And while there are some hints that a bad cycle may be on the way, skin breakouts, wider mood swings than usual, there's no way to be sure how it's going to be in advance. Just because I'm moody one day, don't be a dick or make the comment looks like someone's on their period. Like, just don't. It's not funny. It's like saying to you when you are moody looks like someone has too much testosterone and hormones going on right now. It's just a dick move. Funny thing is, periods are when our own testosterone is highest. The worst shits. There's many more products besides pads or tampons now. There's the menstrual cup, or super absorbent menstrual underwear. Everybody is different and has different preferences and comforts. Some people think we can hold our menstrual blood like it's urine. No. It's going to come out whether we want it to or not. And not everyone can feel when their period begins. The pad sticks on the underwear, not on the vagina as a band-aid. My pads beg to differ. I carefully and methodically place them and secure the wings, only to go to the restroom later on and find part of it somehow magically folded inward and the sticky side is stuck to my skin. That if us women can clean our period blood off of the toilet seat, you can clean your piss off of it, too. This is what I said to my co-workers, all male, the other day, who leave their piss all over the toilet seat and floor. Keep it up and I'm leaving blood smears all over the seat and drops on the floor 7 days a month. That I can bleed like Niagara Falls, yet I get up sore and go to work, manage family, house and pretend my outside matches my inside, and oh, nor I get to have hot flashes and feel like a walking furnace now that I'm over 50. Happy joy. The morning waddle, when you try to make it to the bathroom before your pad overflows after you've been lying down all night and the blood has collected inside you. Also, you can become anemic due to habitually heavy periods. Ask me how I know this. Actually don't. The answer is obvious. No, we can't use just one tampon per period. Tampons can, if left in too long, cause toxic shock syndrome. Tampons should be changed several times a day. Look up how much period products cost sometime, then consider that, depending on flow, women may need 2-3 packs of product per period. Not all women can or want to use tampons or period cups. Some are stuck with pads, or period underwear, which I have no experience with so can't speak to efficiency. Pads are limiting. For one, they can slip to the side if you move around too much, despite the adhesive on them, and hoopsididdle, that's a leak. It doesn't mean anal weak. Different women have different period experiences. Some feel achy for a day, others are completely knocked out by cramps. Some have 3-day periods, others bleed for 7. Most women have a regular cycle, but a significant minority do not. Symptoms such as PMS or tender breasts also vary widely. My cycle is usually regular, but not always. My PMS equals irritability, and little else. My breasts don't get sore, but I have monster cramps and bleed heavily. So if there's a woman in your life, get to know her cycle. And don't assume it's the same for any other woman. Know that we know it's gross, and for the honeymoon part of a relationship we live in fear of bleeding on your stuff or during sex or etc. It'll happen eventually, and how you react is going to set the tone for the rest of the relationship every time it's that time of the month. That shame really gets to us, and we shouldn't need to feel ashamed for a normal body function that we have no control over. Don't suggest birth control to stop or control it just cause it grosses you out. If you want to have a serious conversation about birth control, then let her start the conversation. Also, don't joke about it. As well intentioned as you think you sound, you're making a joke at someone else's expense, and that's bullying. It's a small thing but can hurt and damage trust. Just have a stash of tampons and variety-sized pads available in the bathroom. Size isn't based on the person's size, it's based on how heavy or light the flow. Mention it offhand that you bought her some, without being asked, and she will be your best friend forever. Just because someone is more emotional on their period doesn't make them less rational or logical. It just means they're more likely to cry or be angry. That doesn't mean that those feelings are from an irrational place, they are just more pronounced. Yes. To add to this, I think if anyone is experiencing a constant state of discomfort and pain, it's pretty normal to be a bit irritable, just like when we get sick or injured. That frustrating feeling where your body is doing something beyond your control, and you just have to obey and slow down and act and maneuver and adjust your routine can just be a pain in the ass. Periods are no exception. For God's sake, we can't control it. Leaks can happen and we can't stop them. We can feel the blood when it comes out, but that doesn't mean we can stop it. We do not have to remove our tampons to pee. Also, this https://en.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/premenstrual_dysphoric_disorder. Thank you for mentioning the PMDD. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Deleted. They can be horrible. Some of us have had awful periods our whole lives. Not just cramps, but cramps where you feel like you're going to give birth. Plus, extreme fatigue, irritable, GI issues, etc. And just because it happens every month doesn't change the fact that it can really suck. If this is what happens to your female partner or friend, just take care of them and let them be. It can be physically altering. Because of the hormone fluctuations, I used to regularly get body numbing, making you blind in one eye, vomiting because of light migraines that would last for up to 3 days and nights. It truly can be actually painful in many ways for a female, so it will probably make us bitchy because we are also just trying to cope with the often painful effects while being forced to live life and have to work, go to school, etc. Back in time, the doctors basically told you to suck it up if their drug injections didn't work, and they rarely do. Honestly told them I didn't want them anymore because they didn't work to begin with, so why take it? Period blood isn't inherently dirty. If we've bled onto bedding or anything on accident, just chuck it in cold water for a soak with bleach or stain remover and wash it. It's really not a big deal. I found that ice water works best. Cold is good, but ice water makes the blood cells burst and dissipate easier and faster.